Stefon Diggs, the New England Patriots wide receiver one who got paid a boatload of money in free agency to help Drake May take that next step in his second season, has been making headlines for nothing pertaining to football. It has everything to do with his new relationship with Cardi B. And as a man, when you are picking a woman, you want to find one that's not going to compromise what you have going on. You want to find one that's not going to jeopardize your public image and one that you can bring along with you in any room that you walk in with. And Cardi B is the complete opposite of that. And look, I have nothing wrong with what Stefon Diggs chooses to do in his personal life, who he chooses to get in public relationships with. But he has to understand that he does have a certain image to maintain. He is representing not just himself, the New England Patriots, but also the NFL. And Cardi B is sabotaging Stefon Diggs' NFL career. She had this brother on the boat doing some Diddy powder, taking some of that mystical sniff, and then she posts a video of her shaking her ass on him, and he's smacking that thing. And once again, I have nothing against the relationship, what Stefon Diggs chooses to do with his free time in the off season, but there is a certain way that NFL players are expected to conduct themselves. Ice Spice and Sauce Gardner date, you don't see him smacking her ass out in public and posting it on social media for the world to see. You don't see him with her handing out some of that Diddy powder. The New England Patriots are at a point with Stefon Diggs where they got to ask themselves, is keeping this guy who's coming off an ACL injury at the age of 31 worth the distraction? The Patriot way, which has delivered them a bunch of success, a bunch of championships, has always been to make the main thing, which is football. And Mike Vrabel is a player's coach, but he also has been known to be a disciplinarian. He expects his players to conduct themselves in a certain way off the field, make good decisions. And Stefon Diggs isn't really doing that. He's making the news for nothing pertaining to anything football related. And his relationship with Cardi B is nothing but a distraction. And it's been reported that the Patriots are considering cutting him. And this reminds me a little bit of the Antonio Brown saga when he was with the Raiders and they ended up releasing him for conduct detrimental to the team. I feel this current situation with Stefon Diggs kind of fits that description. You are being detrimental to the New England Patriots brand. You don't see any other Patriots player acting like this in the offseason. And look, everybody has the right to live their lives. I'm not saying that Stefon Diggs is wrong for what he's doing, but he's wrong for allowing it to be so public to when OTA starts tomorrow. You know, all the reporters are going to be asking Mike Vrabel and those Patriots players about, how do you feel about Stefon Diggs out in public smacking Cardi B's ass? How do you feel about Stefon Diggs handing out some of that Diddy powder on the boat? He has become nothing but a distraction. And we don't even know how good Stefon Diggs is going to be coming off that season-ending injury that he suffered with the Texans last year. And I like Stefon Diggs a lot. Some of you guys may feel like I'm reaching on this take, but Cardi B is not good for Stefon Diggs. With how public she's making this to get back at her now about to be divorced husband, Offset pretty much said, I'm passing the ball to you. Stefon Diggs makes an indirect post on his IG story where he pretty much insinuates that he's catching his pass. This is just nothing but toxic and negative attention. And I just feel it's really immature for Stefon Diggs to act this way. As a veteran in the Patriots locker room, he's supposed to be setting the example for how these young players should be conducting themselves off the field. He is not looking like a veteran in the locker room that some of these young wide receivers that the Patriots have should be looking up to. If anything, he's an example of what you shouldn't be doing off the field. And once again, I have nothing wrong with what Stefon Diggs chooses to do in his free time, who he chooses to date, but making it public is just extremely idiotic. Why would he even allow somebody to record him doing some Diddy powder when he knows doggone well that that is against the NFL rules and it's not a good look? Has the CTE kicked in for Stefon Diggs at this point? Because some of the stuff that he's been allowed to post on social media or allow people to record him doing for social media just doesn't make a lot of common sense, because it just doesn't look good in the eyes of the Patriots, the NFL. The NFL didn't even want to comment on Stefon Diggs handing out some of the Diddy powder on that boat. Cardi B, this relationship that she has with Stefon Diggs has done nothing but become a distraction for the New England Patriots. And if Mike Vrabel is this culture builder that he's been made out to be, he needs to get ahead of this and put a stop to this nonsense. Once again, I'm going to say this for the last time. There's nothing wrong with who Stefon Diggs chooses to be with and what he chooses to do off the field, but just have more awareness to not allow it to be this public. Nobody should see you giving out some of that pink magic feel-good powder on social media when you are an NFL player. You just are supposed to hold yourself to a higher standard, especially when you yourself are a personal brand. I just can't believe the stuff that I'm seeing right now out of Stefon Diggs being posted on social media for a guy who the Patriots have a lot of faith in going into this season, somebody who's supposed to be a crucial part in the Patriots overhauling their roster, being able to turn things around since the departure of Tom Brady. It just doesn't look good right now.